Out of all of the Call of Duty games, Advanced Warfare is, let's say, one of the least popular titles in the franchise. It was the start of a different age for Call of Duty, but nobody really thought that would ever happen. Well, I guess until it actually did. However, these days, we look back on the futuristic era very poorly. In saying that, nobody really remembers Advanced Warfare anymore. But why is Advanced Warfare forgotten? I hope that's a question I can try to answer because, yeah, this game is pretty forgettable. The campaign of Advanced Warfare really puts you right into the future. From the first mission, you're a fly on the wall, experiencing all of the advanced technology around you before becoming the catalyst for everything. As Mitchell loses his arm, he regains it in a robotic form, is given insane abilities with the exosuit, more so than his junky training military one, and pulls off insane feats. All of this is possible through Jonathan Irons, the leader of the most powerful private military corporation on Earth, and has access to basically anything you could ever want, even a UN seat. Now, all of this on paper actually sounds pretty good, at least to me. But you can make the same case for Ghosts or Black Ops 3. What I like best about Advanced Warfare is how many aspects the exosuit actually has in practicality for the campaign. But they're taken away from you at almost every single turn. Only 2 missions take full advantage of the suit, and one of them is a stealth mission. Splitting up each type of exosuit was such a bad idea, because it would have been so much cooler to mix and match everything together, to truly create your own experience or have X amount of abilities available to you right from the beginning to play with. The game's story also really takes a hit in the second act. Once Irons turns out to be the villain, all moral gray of his demeanor completely shifts to he's evil and look at all of the evil things Atlas has done. They wanted somebody you could hate for the entire campaign, and once we actually got that with the third mission, we take him out just for the evil businessman to take his place for some reason. Sometimes over-the-top villains are completely viable. Take Modern Warfare 3 for example, but then you look at Raul Menendez, so, we know he's a villain, yet we still sympathize for him. There's enough content to understand what he's doing, and even at some levels sympathize with his struggle. Irons immediately turns to I'm evil for the sake of evil, and that's weak storytelling. Although I like all of the characters, even Joker, who, let's be honest, just disappears after Iron turns out to be evil for little to no reason, but these characters can't save this narrative. Even if the cutscenes and gameplay and graphics look extremely beautiful even today. The multiplayer of Advanced Warfare has been talked about to death, and that's mainly because of the microtransactions that plagued this game and the series after this point. Originally, Activision implemented DLC packs that you could buy for $10 that would each give you maybe 4 maps and 1 zombies map depending if it was a Treyarch game or not. Advanced Warfare implemented supply drops, ways to unlock weapon variants and customize your soldier, and the real kicker though is that even though you can unlock these through traditional gameplay, you can buy these loot boxes on a mass scale, on top of those DLC packs. This is all this multiplayer is going to be remembered for. That's because this multiplayer is completely forgettable. When I was a kid, I played this multiplayer a whole lot, and the only thing I remember is the BAL 27 and the Atlas 45. I don't remember the maps or kill streaks or other weapons. It was just those two because that was my loadout. I can remember Modern Warfare 2 maps from the back of my hand. I remember the random tree in a corner of a map. I can't do that with Advanced Warfare, and I think that's the most determinant thing of anything. If you can't remember the multiplayer, why would you go back to play it? Exo Zombies may be the strangest side mode in Call of Duty history, mainly because it was never advertised at launch. To unlock a teaser for zombies, you had to complete the last level of Advanced Warfare Survival Mode, which took a pretty long time, and before players were actually able to do that, zombies got leaked. But it wasn't like in World at War, where if you beat the campaign, you unlock Nacht der Untoten. No, for beating Riot Survival, you got to escape from zombies, followed simply by a cutscene. And regardless if the cutscene looked great or not, that was it for the base game. If you actually wanted to play Exo Zombies, you would have to buy DLC 1. And not many people actually wanted to buy the DLC for Call of Duty games, especially so since all of the microtransactions we just talked about were introduced. I definitely did not want to buy this. Thankfully, I didn't have to, because I game share with my friend Joe, who has this map. Thanks, buddy. In doing so, this is probably the least popular zombies mode. On a simple account, it didn't reach the same audience that any other game would reach. Even so, it's regarded as probably the best in totality of non-Treyarch games. Take that as you will, but playing Exo Zombies really just made me feel like we could have just played a normal zombies map. We're not given the exosuit at the very beginning, we actually have to go find it, and I just kind of liked running around zombies like normal, more so than the exosuit stuff. But saying that, the first map is fun, and I really enjoyed it. I think Sledgehammer could have done a much better job at handling the entire release of the game, but just waiting for the first person to find a secret in Riot of all maps and then just release it 2 weeks after launch or whatever. But Activision continues to be greedy, and we know they're greedy, so there's really nothing we can do there. The DLC cycle of this game is very weird, as it holds one of the worst zombies experience of all time in Infection, a pretty solid map with Descent, and then Carrier, which is just kind of mid. Out of all of the things to do in this game, Exo Zombies is the one thing I would say to come back to because, you know, at least it tried to do something other than normal Treyarch zombies. And when you look at Extinction compared to that, I think that's good enough. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is one of the most interesting games I think I've ever covered, because at the time, nobody even thought about doing an over-the-top futuristic Call of Duty game. Yes, Black Ops 2 had elements of the future, but it was very much so grounded, but not here. Everything relied on the exosuit, and when that failed, the entire game failed. But it did start the exosuit era of Call of Duty. And when the first game in the era is the best, that's a sign that maybe this game should not have been made. But we are here, and we are left with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, a game nobody wanted, and a game nobody remembers. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider checking out some of my other stuff. Thank you so much.